Hello and welcome back to another episode of Down to the Wire. I'm your host, Cole Young, and this week we have a plethora of sports topics to cover, and we got some wheels to spin. With us again, we have Adam Christensen. Adam, thanks for being here. How you doing?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. You know, been watching a lot of sports lately, so I'm excited to talk about it. We got a lot of topics that we can get to, some combine action, maybe some free agency for the MLB, so I'm looking forward to it. Let's get into it.
Let's spin those wheels. All right, we got the first one going here.
Let's see what we get.
And let's spin them. All right, first topic. Looks like we got Boise State Broncos in the NFL Combine for 4 minutes. So, draft is coming up in April.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to see some Boise State faces in there. Obviously, the first two that you can think of, it's going to be Brett Rippon and Alexander Madison.
Yeah, for sure.
And, you know, those losses are definitely going to hurt us, hurt Boise. But you want to see the best for him.
Yeah,
so,
always good to see him go to the NFL.
Absolutely. And Rippon, in his 4 years here, he's put up just about 14,000 yards and 90 touchdowns, which those are a lot of numbers.
That's good enough. That's good enough. That'll win you some games.
He's a good pocket passer. He's strong. He has a strong arm. He's smart. His draft profile says, and he does struggle with accuracy at times, but not enough to where a team, would look away and just dismiss him. So I definitely think I could see him going in the third or fourth round to a team that needs a quarterback, and a lot of teams today need a quarterback. So.
Yeah, it is the most important position in sports, and there's a lot of bad quarterbacks out there. So anytime you can get your hands on something that might turn out good, they're really lottery chips. So if you can get your hands on as many of those as you can, Rippon's not a bad one to get your hand on. He, like you said, he threw for a lot of yards. He has experience throwing the ball in more of a pro-style offense. Boise State likes to spread it out, but they run those pro-style routes, some crossing routes across the middle, and some routes to the flats that teams like to see. So, he has like that, but they do worry about his accuracy. You've seen it from time to time. He got to cut down on the interceptions, maybe some of those dangerous throws. But good thing for him is he can practice that. A lot of reps will help him, and he's just been climbing up the draft board ever since this whole scouting process started. He started as like a 5th, 6th rounder, and now he's climbing. He may get taken in the 3rd round, 4th round. Outside the 1st round, it's a weak year for quarterbacks, so he could definitely sneak his way in there.
That's very true. I would definitely take him over someone like Nathan Peterman, who somehow keeps making rosters.
Unbelievable.
Other than him, though, and then, of course, Alexander Madison, our running back. As a 3-year starter, he put up just about 3,300 all-purpose yards and 34 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's a beast.
That's insane. And just very intelligent, very well-spoken guy. He runs hard. He's fast. So I for sure think he'll get picked up by a team. He'll make the team as special teams, just make a couple big plays, and I'm sure you'll see him in some offensive rotations this season.
Yeah, man, he hits hard. He's one of those guys where you see him in the hallway and you'll knock stuff over to get out of his way because you don't want to run into him, man.
And even if you do that, he'll just jump over you.
Yeah, he'll just jump right over you anyways. He can. He's got the hops. He's got the height or the strength to play in the NFL for sure. There's no doubt. He's really good in those short yardage goal line situations, so I think he'd be perfect on 3rd down if you need 2 yards. Get him behind the big boys on the offensive line and let him run over a few linebackers.
Exactly. And at 5'11", 210 pounds, that's a good build for a running back. Yeah. Making a team, they'll put some pounds on him too. I definitely think he'll start getting rotation, like you said, on 3rd down, short yardage situations. But he also has the speed, and he can catch too. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, and that's especially in the NFL these days. You need someone who can catch balls out of the backfield.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a large part of their offense was through those throws to the flats or those short crossing routes he had across the middle. So he can catch like a David Johnson almost, or like a Le'Veon Bell. He can catch in that sort of ilk. So it'll be interesting to see how he does.
It will. And I did see that he was on the Steelers draft board, which makes sense, especially with Le'Veon Bell departing. I could definitely see him being a backup to James Conner.
Oh, yeah, and they both have a similar running style, so there wouldn't be too much changing in that offense, bringing both of them in. So I know coaches like to look out for that. So, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. I could definitely see that happening.
Awesome. Is there anyone else you think from Boise that could go into the draft?
Yeah, definitely. Sean Modster is definitely a guy to look out for. He could have a good pro day here at Boise State and really start climbing into those later rounds. He's a good route runner. He's fast. He is a little undersized at 5'11", 190, so that could be a problem. But he, like I said, he's a great route runner. He knows how to get open. He had a lot of clutch catches for the Broncos on late 2-minute drives. He was sort of that Julian Edelman, sure-handed. You can go to him, and as long as he's semi-open, he'll make that catch. So it wouldn't surprise me if he started climbing up the draft board.
I agree, and it looks like we're out of time, so we'll go on to our next topic. Let's spin those wheels again.
Let's see
what do we got?
Here.
Let's get those things spinning. And
all right.
All right, so we're going to talk about the MLB free agency for 3 minutes. a lot of buzz going around the league, a lot of big names still unsigned.
Yeah.
What do you got?
It's crazy. So yeah, you got like 3 or 4 big names that have still yet to be signed. Machado's still out there. Bryce Harper's still out there. Chris Sale even is still out there. And spring training pitchers and catchers just reported. So it's really getting, as we could say, down to the wire here for these guys. So it'll be interesting. A lot of players have been outspoken about it. They are thinking that the owners and these teams are kind of taking advantage of them and kind of coming together to try to keep these prices down, even though they're making a lot of money. So there has been a sense of frustration building among the players, and that's not good. This current bargaining agreement they have ends in 2021, so they could possibly have a strike then. We might see a work stoppage, because this is seriously, I mean, when you have it 2 years out and players are already complaining about it, you know that it's going to be a reoccurring problem. But yeah, some teams that are interested in them, you got the White Sox look like they're the favorites to sign Machado. It's just a matter of how much and for how long at this point, which should help them out. It should bring them almost to contend in that Central Division there, which could be a tough division. So it's interesting to see where Harper's going to end up. He's got a lot of teams in on him. It seems like every day there's a new team in on him. I heard the Padres a couple weeks ago, but now they're not in on it. And I heard the Mets a couple days ago. So it almost seems like a mystery sort of team will come in and take him randomly. So we'll keep our ears open for that one. But it's been a wild ride.
Well, and didn't Harper just turn down a huge contract as well too?
Yeah,
I mean, these
like
guys are asking for
$300
million contracts. That's insane. So do you think as an organization and as a team, do you want to pay these players that money? Because obviously, they're going to come in and make an immediate difference. They're going to change the course of the season, but you spend the money on them and you can't build around them. So do you think it's worth it for teams to go out and spend that money on these big names?
I guess it really just depends on where your team's at. If you're a team like the Dodgers or even like the Nationals and like the Mets that have had decent teams in the past, you just haven't been able to put it together for whatever reason, your fans are itching for a long playoff run. They're itching for another championship shot, especially a team like the Dodgers. Your window's closing very quickly. So for them, it almost wouldn't make sense, because you have to commit to these guys long term. They want 10-year deals. They want $300 million for 10 years. So that doesn't really make sense for a team that only has a window of maybe 2 or 3 years. You want a team maybe like the Padres that has a good crop of young talent that they could use to bring up around Harper. That's not going to cost them a lot of money.
That's true.
So it'll all depend on, like I said, whoever's willing to go up to that $400 million range for 10 plus years, or 10 years. That's going to be teams are going to have to decide if they want to make that financial commitment. It's not easy.
That's true, and like you said, it's going to be a large financial commitment.
It is a large financial commitment. I mean, the Angels just did it with Albert Pujols, and that's hurt them a lot these past couple years.
It didn't turn out too well.
They can't go after a Harper because of that money. So.
All right, so we're moving on to our next subject. Let's spin those wheels one more time. What do we got here? And spin. All right, so now we're moving on. Piggybacking off that, we got MLB spring training for 5 minutes. So, spring training's coming up in Phoenix or in Arizona, and what teams you looking forward to seeing?
I'm actually, so like I mentioned earlier, the Dodgers, their window's kind of closing, so I'm interested to see what they're doing. They traded away Puig and some other high money, big name guys to try to clear up some money. They were tired of going over that luxury tax and getting charged for it. So I'm interested to see how they do, how they rebound. They only got 1, maybe 2 more years left at this try to go get out a championship. They've had some heartbreakers the last couple years, so I feel like they'll be very motivated to go far. Another team I'm looking forward to is the Padres. They've had the league's best prospect system for years now, it seems.
Which is amazing, because last season they went 66 and 96.
Yeah, exactly. You can't even.
If you have a good farm system, you feel like you're going to have to, like you said, get more than 70 wins.
Yeah, I mean, they gotta eventually start getting to the playoff conversation here. You can't keep a franchise sustained for that long if you're finishing 5th and 4th in your division every year. And gosh darn it, that stadium deserves a better team. That stadium is one of the best in the
Downtown
MLB.
San Diego, Petco Park. Come on, you got to put on somewhat of a show if you're going to play at a place like that.
You got good food there. It's beyond
right in the heart of downtown. They just built a whole new parking structure.
It's beautiful, and they can't get free agents, which is crazy to me, because
how do you not want to move to San Diego?
Live in San Diego, making like Bryce Harper. Come on, you got $300 million on the table. You can go
live on
spend
the beach in San Diego.
I don't get it, but so I'm excited to see how they can do.
True. Personally, I'm excited. excited as an Angels fan.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see Shohei Ohtani come back after that shoulder surgery. You know, he really put a spark in that team, especially on the offensive side. Team that just was relying heavy on Mike Trout. Yeah, so it was nice to add another person in there, you know, to kind of back him up. So I'm excited to see how he's going to come back off of that elbow surgery.
Elbow surgery, yeah. And that was the thing last year. We knew he was a good pitcher, but it was all about his hitting. Was he going to be able to face these MLB arms? And the next thing you know, he's hitting dingers left and right. So I'm really excited to see what he can do. He's got that big swing, that heavy swing that he can hit some balls pretty far. So yeah, like you said, I'm looking forward to that as well. And I'm also looking forward to see the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry back at its peak.
Oh yeah.
It feels like it's been since like 2003, 4, 5 since we've had those really hardcore Boston Red Sox and Yankees games where both teams were at their peak. And I feel like we're into that now. Yeah, we might get some fist fights this year, hopefully. Maybe Brett Boone like going onto the field and reliving his glory days, trying to take down some Red Sox pitcher or something. So I'm looking forward to that rivalry getting back, and it's always funny to watch Yankees and Red Sox fans go at it. That's always a good time. So.
Same with Dodgers, Giants.
Yeah, Dodgers,
theirs get a little more violent.
Too bad the Giants suck.
Their history,
year, so
and their history has been a little sketchy.
It's a little violent.
Yeah, it's a little violent. Yeah. Another player I'm excited to see also as an Angels fan is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You know, his dad was one of the best Angels players ever. Great hitter, great outfielder. So I've heard nothing but good things about his son.
Yeah, the Blue Jays got to be excited about him. He can hit the ball a mile. It sounds like the crack that the bat makes when he hits the ball. It sounds like it's Vladimir Guerrero back up there. So hopefully he'll make his way onto the MLB team this year. They're a young team that's looking ahead to the future, so they might want to get him some opportunities. So I'm looking forward to see what he can do. He's definitely what they call a phenom these days.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's
just looking at it. Honestly, just looking at him, he's one of those guys. You look at him, you're like, he is an athlete.
He's not. Yeah, you don't know what you can see him in an airport. You go, I don't know what sport he plays, but you're going somewhere.
He plays one, and he's good at it.
Yeah, I know you're good at it. Yeah, so. And I'm also excited. The Astros, they didn't make the championship last year, but they still got a good team. They still got most of their guys returning, and so I'm really excited to see what they can do. They got one of those lineups that makes pitchers have the flu the night before because they don't want to go in and face them and have their ERA get jacked up. So I think they can have a real shot at getting back to that World Series, especially not having the pressure of playing in it last year. They've got to reset, a long time to reset, have their minds focused on it. And we can hear that big train horn go off a couple hundred more times. So that was one of the better World Series games I've ever seen.
What was it, 11 innings? Something
yeah,
like
11 innings. It was like 15 to 13.
In the rain, too. It was,
with a bunch of home runs.
You look for that in a movie.
Yeah, like cork up the balls, cork up the bats, whatever gets me 10 home runs in a game. I don't care. That was how entertaining was that. You can't tell, like.
It's 3 in the morning. You're like, I'm watching this. I don't care. I'll call in sick from work. I need to watch the end of this game. Gotta love postseason baseball. So we're excited to see it starting up. Start from the beginning now.
Great summer game, great summertime activity. Go out, maybe go catch a couple Hawks games out here. It's always fun to see some baseball out under the sun. I enjoy myself out there.
Well, it's just coming up. So
yeah, can't wait.
All right, we're moving on to our last topic. Let's spin this wheel one more time and see what we got.
All right. Here we go.
Last one. What do we got here? Ooh, controversial. Kyler Murray for 1 minute.
All right.
So, as most people know, Kyler Murray, starting quarterback for Oklahoma, wins the Heisman. This whole time, he's been on contract with the A's, he committed to play MLB baseball. And then just this week, he announces he wants to pursue his dream to play quarterback
Total 180,
in the NFL. And even the A's came out and said they were totally blindsided by this. They had no idea.
Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
My question for you is, do you think he made the right choice? Or do you think, baseball might have been a better route?
I mean, I guess it all depends on how you want to make your money. Baseball, it'll take a while, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong. You got to have like 5 or 7 years of service with your team before you can even hit free agency and make like your big money. Whereas the NFL, he can make. I mean, if he gets drafted in the first round, he's looking at like what, $15 million.
It's got to be something. First round quarterback,
You're then you throw in a Nike sponsorship or an Adidas sponsorship on top of that, and some signing bonuses, and then all those
player incentives.
Appearances he'll make in whatever city he gets drafted. I mean, he would turn down a lot of money not going to the NFL, and it's not saying that the MLB is not still there available for him. I mean, he can still go back and play. So I think he made the right decision. Yeah.
All right, hot take. It looks like that's all we got for this week on Down to the Wire. Adam, thanks for being with us again.
Thanks for having me.
Tune in next time. And again, thanks for watching. I'm Cole Young.
Go,